Hello everybody and welcome to the stream. If you were hanging out with us last night on the Pixelogic channel, then you got to see me turn human Jon Snow here into the White Walker version, which was a lot of fun. If you did not get to see that, that will be up on their YouTube channel probably in like the next 24 or 48 hours or so. They're typically pretty good and pretty fast about that stuff. But yeah, so, and I guess if you want to see the human version of that process as well, from literally just starting out with a sphere, taking it all the way up to this, we did that in our last stream on my channel, which is up on my YouTube channel now. So go check that out if you're interested in seeing that whole thing from beginning to end. White Walker Jon Snow, he was a lot of fun to do. We tried to do this really quick. We only had a couple hours on stream. So I had to rush through a lot of stuff, and we still kept a lot of this, you know, really rough. If we look at the beard and the hair, everything's just kind of really low poly Dynamesh. But, you know, we got the job done pretty quick. I would like to spend, you know, more time on them, but I think we'll move on to something new for today. So I'll keep a little zombie John up here in the corner maybe for a little bit for those that are jumping in here that didn't get to see that process. Grab me a sphere, and let's see here. Give some time for some people to pop in here. Let's make sure that the stream is going up. Everything's cool here. Alright. So as always, as you're jumping in, feel free to ask any questions. Whew, that's a spicy chai. It's actually just hot, not spicy. Whew, burned my tongue a little, but that's okay. So as always, feel free to ask any questions as you're jumping in here. If you have no clue what's going on with digital sculpting at all, whoa, that was a little weird. Or if you're just curious about any tools or techniques that I'm using, feel free to drop those in chat and I'll answer whatever I can. But yeah, we're going to be working on this little dragon boy up here. I don't know who the concept artist is, and I can't remember where I found this image. I did a reverse Google image search on it and I couldn't find anything on it, so if anybody recognizes the work, do let me know. But yeah, we're gonna start here really low poly, blocking things out. I'm gonna be pretty chill, and let's see, let's maybe play around with our snake hook brush. We use this not too often, and I don't know, I'm gonna play around with that. Actually, you know what, since we really don't do this very often, let's grab our little dragon image here. I'm using the spotlight reference tool, and we'll lower our opacity. We'll lower this way down. And then we'll also activate our timeline here. And I am just gonna line up, let's see. I'll probably break this into a top portion of the jaw, a lower portion, and then a neck. So we can kind of figure out how we want to split this up. It's a good idea to do a little bit of pre-planning here. I'm just dropping a little point on my my timeline up there, and that'll tell me exactly, like if I mess up my camera view or move this around, I can just snap that back into place. There's one other way that you can do that really easily using your document, let's see, Z app link down here. That's another way you can make these little points. But yeah, let's continue on here. And grab our transpose tool as well. And I think it's going to be easier if I leave perspective off while I do some of this. Let's go ahead and start matching this shape for the lower portion of the jaw. Now, sometimes I would just sculpt this, like block out this entire basic shape, and then from there, after that, you know, draw a cut line through it and then split the geometry into two pieces. I don't really think it matters too much, but let's kind of start blocking out the silhouette here. And let me see, let's switch back and forth between these. Maybe I can get a quick little cut through here. just chop all that off. And because this is such a low resolution Dynamesh, some of that's going to be a little dirty. That's okay. Let's kind of pull down on that, clean it up. And we'll play with that more. So for this lower jaw, I only want that coming up to about there, because the rest of this is his like little do-flap thing for his neck, or whatever you call that. I guess I call it a do-flap. Here, so let's just so I can see where that line is, I'm gonna put my transpose line there. A little hard for me to see with all the other stuff going on. But yes, welcome everybody. See that we got a few more people joining us. How you guys doing? Hope you're having a good Wednesday, good hump day. So we've kind of started to get that blocked out pretty quickly here. The only problem is, of course, well, there's a lot of problems, but the main problem with working this way, you know, I'm gonna have to go back through and kind of figure out what this guy's gonna look like from the front, and figure out, you know, how rounded do I want this to be? Do I want this to be like really flat on the sides of his face? And I have to infer whoops, that's not good. Let's make sure that's lining up. It's close enough. Oh crap, now it's not. I just completely screwed that up. It's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to move that. There we go. So what can we infer from this image? Based on just lighting that's kind of quickly painted or sketched in here. It looks pretty flat to me on the sides of his face. I'm seeing a little bit of a plane change happening here with this line, and that makes sense. I think the cheek is going to be further out for like some kind of cheekbone or something, just the shape of the skull, and then maybe that's more of a little bit more sunken in for the eye socket, of course, and then for the top part of the brow. It's all pretty flat through there, so we'll play around with it and figure it out, but I think it's good to think about this stuff early on. So fix that, get that back into place. And again, this is all like really low poly broken up, but let's not fret about that right now. We'll probably try to tackle as much of this as we can at once. So let's do his little do flappy down here. I'm just gonna come to the side and shrink that in, just to narrow that out a little bit. Come on through here, and let's start matching this shape. And then I'll just terminate that geometry. And let's see. It's got an interesting flow going back here into the neck. I like that a lot. Let's try doing some of this. Let's just block out this main shape here. And this is all very narrow, of course, so we'll have to come through here and start to thicken some of this up. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's take this piece, separate it out, split hidden. Yes, please. I'm gonna leave that there for now. And then for this, let's start to widen it out. And we'll continue to block out these shapes here. So there's definitely a distinctive flow going on through here. So we have this nice straight, pretty much all the way back to the corner of his mouth back there, and then it starts to blend into the neck a little bit more. So let's see, Let's grab our top portion of our jaw and start to pull that back a little bit more. And we'll just start to match this shape a little bit better. Up here, I'll just do a quick like pull out, and then we'll adjust that later. Make sure that we have enough thickness going on. And this feels all very narrow to me, so we'll be widening this face out quite a bit, I'm sure. Or the front portion of the head, the schnoz. I don't know, do dragons have schnozzes? Something. What's going on, Kira? Welcome to the stream. Thank you. And grab our body. And let's start just like flowing this all together here. Right through the jaw there. I want to make sure that the jaw is sticking out enough here. So this is going to have to be more wide. Whoa. Same here. There we go. That's feeling a lot closer to what we are gonna want. And then for the little dew flap, I'll probably just keep that the way it is right now. Let's see. Looking at that image, I feel like I could get quite a bit more of a straight here. Changing that plane. There's a lot that we'll have to clean up here. Let's just focus on these major shapes. Like up through here, all this pinching geometry we're going to want to avoid and Dynamesh out. But at least now I can increase the resolution on this. Get that to a little bit of a nicer, easier to work with polygon count. And we'll do the same thing down here. Pinch in along this edge. And try to get more of a plane change happening there. Try to flatten that out. So it's not all just kind of wrapping together. Want that to be a little bit more distinct. Right through there. It's a really nice shape. I like that a lot coming through here. It'll be fun to sculpt. And then, let's see. For this shape, so I don't know if the jaw is going to like taper or what, but I don't like having any parallels ever in anything, and neither should you. Parallels just really don't exist in nature. So let's get that to taper. So it'll be a little bit wider towards the back and taper in towards the snout. Ariel, I know. I was thinking of you when I when I grabbed this image. I said Ariel's gonna be so excited. Dragon time. I love dragons too. Dragons are awesome. I actually like anything fantasy. I like fantasy a lot more than sci-fi. Always been, ever since I was young, reading a ton of fantasy. Alright, so we're matching the silhouette there. You can get a little extra taper off towards the bottom. We'll either like cut that off or I don't know, Maybe we'll like curl it around and give him a little base. A lot of options there. Oh, that tea is so good. Whew. Going with the spice chai. All right. So for our neck here, there's this little point here where it's coming up and then dipping into shadow. So this indicates to me that this is the furthest point out on the neck here, and then there's a nice, at least somewhat tight crease or a change in the form there. So it's coming out here. Let's try to round that out some more on top. And then let's up this res a little bit. Trim that out. And let's see. It's got like this. Let's see, how do we want to do this? Let's grab our sharp soft edge and just do a real quick cut and pinch. And I'm just attempting to pull in here a little bit. Just so that surface starts turning. And then through here, we'll have to blend all this a little bit better, obviously. I think that starts to flow into the little dew flap. I can't remember what these are called, but I'm sticking with dew flap. So we'll flow that shape in here. And so that flows up and around and in. That's pretty cool. I like that a lot. I'll just kind of rough that in real quick. And then for the bottom, it just kind of tucks under and, tucks under and also does the same thing. Still very rough, but that's okay. Let's continue to keep this as rough as we can. Alright, let's see what else we got that we need to put in here in these early stages. Let's get a few of those little spines in. And I'll be using the IMM primitive insert. I mean, really, any of these will work. I think the capsule is the... I guess not. I thought the capsule at one point maybe was the default mesh. You can use cylinders or really anything. I mean, a lot of the time I just use spheres and then pull them out really sharply. As long as it's fitting this basic size and shape. We'll be able to adjust that later. This one's quite a bit larger. So let's do this. Auto groups. And then with Dynamesh, if you turn on groups, these should not stick together now. That should be the case. Alright, so we want... Let's just duplicate that. And then what I'll do is use my move backface masking. I'm going to blend those together with Dynamesh. And then we'll grab this purple dude back here. Pull that out. Whoops. Curve that. And then we'll pull out that shape. So just to start blocking that in, let's do a group split. Do I not have group split in here? I do. So the way group split works, whatever your active group is, it'll hold on to that one first and then start splitting the others. I typically prefer to do this manually so that I know where everything is in the order of my subtool list, just to keep it a little bit more organized, but just for some quick splitting, it's typically just fine. Gliffy says, hell yeah, Spice Chai. Engine, what's going on? What's going on, guys? How's your Wednesday so far? Hope it's going good. So at this point, let's do that last little fin-like pull out here, just so we know that we're, you know, getting all those major silhouette blockouts in there. And then we'll do some more stuff with like teeth and all that jazz later. That'll be a lot of fun. Let's see, let's move this in a little bit maybe. Alright. So that's how, if I'm gonna try to match that silhouette really nicely, that's a really good way to do something like that. And then, you know, you can continue to match that up later if you need to. For the most part, though, I think we'll just be going off of a lot of what we can see. For the most part, I mean, it's not an incredibly complicated set of shapes here, but there are maybe some little things that we want to figure out for like eye placement and some other stuff, just to make sure we're putting it all in the right place. Well, let's get sculpting. I mean, we've been sculpting, but let's get into it, the thick of it. I'm just going to begin by defining these shapes a little bit better. And by the way, if you guys are just now joining us and wondering about the creepy dude up here, Captain Killjoy. Last night on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel, we turned a human Jon Snow into a, what would you call it? White Walker version of Jon Snow. So he was a lot of fun to work on. If you guys are interested in checking out the sculpting process from the very beginning, that's over on my YouTube channel. And if you want to see this specific version, you can check that out over on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel over on YouTube. They should have that up probably in the next day or so. A beautiful scarf? A beautiful scarf? Dude, I got some dope scarves. Go dig them out. Wednesday's always good because it's not Monday. Calm down, Garfield. All this is so messy. That's okay. We got the basics in there. Let's turn on perspective and just kind of see how this is reading from the front. So we're still very kind of parallel in this major like top and front view. So I would like to switch that up a little bit. So I would expect the neck to be getting wider as it's tapering towards the body. And I'll probably be like cutting this off or something. Or like I said, maybe even like turning it into, whoops, that's a bad move. But rotating that into like some kind of stand or something. That way if we were to 3D print something like this, it would not just like lay flat on your desk, you could actually prop it up. It'd be pretty cool. Alright, so what do we need to happen here? We've got this major break in our silhouette happening. Let's turn off perspective for a little bit. Almost Cobra-esque, but I don't want to define it to that degree. So let's maybe knock it down a little bit. Get that a little bit pulled in. And I'm trying to get a little bit of this separation happening. So let's, instead of what I'm doing, let's just mask this off. And then we can do this a lot easier. I'm gonna merge this with my Do-Flappy. Wherever he went. There he is. And start blending all that together. Dynamesh edges are always so dirty when you close holes on them. So I like to go through and clean those up after. If I do a split like I just did. Help keep that nice and clean. Or at least heading in the direction of clean. That's definitely starting to feel a lot closer to what we're looking for. And then this is a very interesting shape. Also, this jawline's a little funky. Let's see here. Let's fix this. This jaw needs to come out a lot further. I'm gonna get this like basic shape first and then do that like little negative there. Having trouble getting this edge to come out further, so I'll try to mask that off, and that should help. And even slide in here a little bit. very hard to see what's going on in these shadowed areas. So we'll shift our light around. I think that's pretty good for the most part. Now we can get that little subtractive piece, as long as, let's see, that's a little interesting. Try to make sure that that angle is feeling okay. And we just got a little bit too much geo on the other side of that edge. So what I'll do is just knock that down with my move brush or even a clay tubes or trim. Just kind of pull that in some. Get that feeling more flat. So it feels like there's an actual break. Let's see. Alright, so that's a lot closer to what we want there. And this little negative cavity shape here. I'll just do like a quick pull in there. Well, let's shrink that mask. Masks are always a little deceiving in what their actual size is, because they tend to, like if you're pulling in a shape like I just did, it tends to go a little bit further than what it looks like, because it pulls in the geometry around that as well. So let's try to shrink that mask a little bit. I don't really need it to be the exact shape. Oh my gosh. Transpose. Play nice. I don't need it to be the exact shape, I just need it to be, you know, roughly what we're looking for here. And I'm going to attempt to get rid of this like extra geo here. Shape is a little bit more difficult to do something like what I just did with the transpose on, so I'll probably just trim this up just so I can flatten this. Alright, let's do a Dynamesh, and then again on this, like I said, just needed to get the basic shape so that we can adjust it to where we need it. And I'm probably going to be pulling this neck out here and form-fitting that to the jaw a lot closer. Let's in general try pulling out the whole thing. And that's feeling a bit closer, maybe a bit too wide, but that's okay. We'll mess with that in a bit. Let's continue to get these plane breaks in here. And this is all just Dynamesh, a few different subtools here for each kind of like major section. And we're just going through cleaning them up one at a time. And let's see, we got more of a point here, so let's try to build this up a bit more around where the jaw will be. That feels a bit better to me. And then for the actual jaw here, I think I'll probably be rotating this out even more. So the way I'm doing this, the way I'm like widening and tapering that out, what you want to do is you want to take your transpose line, or even your 3D gizmo, find that like center point. As long as you have symmetry on, it should snap to it relatively easy, and then you can rotate out from there. If you, depending on where you put this transpose line on, I don't know if you guys can see this like little subtle movement here as it's shifting across the x-axis. So depending on which one you grab, it'll change which way you rotate this. So just be careful that you're not breaking too much stuff when you do that. There we go. That feels a lot better to me. I'll rotate out that top one as well. RIP. Thanks for the 10 bits, Engine. Or wait, hold on. Name's Black. Sorry, that is not Engine. That is, oh my gosh. Why does Twitch always do this? Cryptid. Thank you for the 10 bits. Twitch always has these dark and difficult to see names that blend in with the background color there. It's always annoying. And I think it's just because I use the dark theme. I've tried using the like more readable color names or whatever. That's like an option that you can check somewhere in the chat. It didn't do anything though. It just maybe I didn't leave it on long enough for it to take effect. It still did it though. Kind of annoying. So up here, so we'll have to blend these together for this section, and then keep that cut in for the mouth. And that'll probably be one of the more difficult areas to work out. And I'll be messing with the like actual jawline up through here as well. This area is relatively straight, relatively simple, not necessarily straight. It's got a bit of a curve to it. And then here, we got this nice pull down. Let's see. So we'll work on that. And I'm using Acu with my move brush there as I do that. Let's see. As for our little dew flap, wow, this shape. Let's clean this up. I will be Z-remeshing all these pieces eventually, and I might do it a little bit earlier on some of these just to make it a little bit easier to manipulate. As this surface gets more and more dirty, it just gets more difficult to control it. And lowering the poly count with a Z-remesh is never a bad idea at this stage. It just makes it easier to manipulate your geometry. Get in here and really clean up this silhouette. So already, even with just a really simple, you know, ZRemesh, I really didn't do, I like moved to two points there. That's already, you know, pretty clean shave. A lot nicer than what we had before. So I think I'll just leave that for now. And that just has a dynamic subdiv on that. I'll actually add some geo. Make that work a little bit nicer. For something like this, sometimes we'll ZRemesh with keep groups on. And that will allow us to hopefully create like a slice through here, and then it will retain that edge for us. Let's try. Let's do low res as we can possibly get. Matthew, what's going on? Thank you for the raid, man. I didn't see a notification. Huh. Hold on a moment here, guys. I think my notifications aren't working. What's going on here? Let me see. There we go. Do a quick test. That was weird. I don't know what was happening there, but thank you for the raid. There was not a notification, was there? I did not hear one, at least. It should be working now, though. But what's going on? What's up, crew? Welcome to the stream. We just started a little Dragon Boy. Currently in the blocking out phase. So we start to get all these pieces of geo in the proper place. Proper place, proper place. Say proper place 5 times fast. Proper place, proper place, proper place. Actually, it's not that hard. Never mind. It's a real nice gestural shape through here. I feel like that's kind of sticking out really far. So let's do the same thing that we were doing above, but this time we're going to rotate in. And this time, so this little error here, it's because I actually selected that vert here. So I just need to move my transpose line out to the side a little bit. And now I should be able to rotate just fine. There we go. That's a lot nicer. Now this kind of cut here is more so what I was looking for earlier, so that's feeling a lot nicer. You made some board game figures, that's pretty fun. I love me some board games. I don't know if we have any other board gamers out there. Wednesday is actually typically my board game night with a few of my friends, but we've moved it. We've moved it to Thursday. And actually, that reminds me, I will not be streaming tomorrow for you guys. I will be hanging out with my mom, actually. It's her birthday tomorrow. So no stream tomorrow. You can blame Mama Follygon for that one. Let's see. Something strange happened. Let's see, first level, pick the highest div. Your subdivs disappeared. It might have been when you were merging some stuff down. I'd have to see the exact file to understand exactly what happened, but it sounds like maybe you were merging some stuff together, and then when you merge stuff together, if you merge something with subdivs and something that doesn't, it'll make your subdivs disappear, but you can still reconstruct them. As long as you split that back off, you should be able to reconstruct those subdivs. Down here, under reconstruct. Labasi says, "Happy birthday, Mama Follygon." Well, thank you. I'll tell her. I'll tell her that you guys said that. Just merged after split. Yeah, like I said, it's really hard for me to understand exactly what happened without seeing it. Maybe try posting some images over in the help section over on the Discord channel. And for those that I guess have not heard of or not joined in yet, there is a community-run ZBrush Discord channel, as well as an official ZBrush Discord channel, ran by myself and a couple others for the community-run one. And there's a link to that down below. And if you guys are interested in joining that, or the official one, there's a link over on the Pixelogic website. But if you're looking for help, it's a great place to post. Or if you're looking for critique, or just a community of like-minded or similar people working on similar projects. Or if you're looking for someone to collab with, or, you know, whatever. Work on some fun stuff. It's a great place. I would recommend. 10 out of 10, would Discord again. Let us see. Lettuce. Alright. So let's realign our dragon. Turn the opacity down. And we'll have to scale this up. Find out exactly where. Let's see here. What would be a good piece to line up with? Probably the bottom jaw. Well, that looks about the right scale. So we'll stick with that. And just fix any changes we want to make to our silhouette at this point. Really, there's not a ton. The subdivs disappeared when you merge something to the model. Yeah, that's what I was saying. If you merge something with subdivs and something without, you won't be able to step up or down through your subdivs because one of those objects does not have subdivisions. So to correct that, you just have to split it off, and then you can reconstruct your subdivision levels. They don't disappear, they're still on the object. So, for instance, I have this object and if I try to insert a sphere on this, it'll say, I can't because I have subdivision levels. So it's saying delete your subdivs or freeze them so that you can insert a sphere on this geometry. And the reason for that, it will not give you that warning when you're merging stuff. It'll give you a different warning, but here. So I have mesh with subdivision levels, mesh without. So I'm going to merge these together, and now my subdivision levels are quote gone. They're not gone, they still exist. The information is still on this geometry. So to get those back, I need to either split or just delete that inserted mesh there. I'll just delete it because I don't need it. and then I can just reconstruct all those subdivision levels and have them back. Let's see, I love ZBrush, but I get in gaps where I don't touch it for a few months. And then I just feel like I've forgotten how to do everything. Yeah, I'm sure you're not the only one. It doesn't matter if you append or insert or merge. It's all the same. Quick save. Oh, this is our spooky song. This reminds me of Alien. The song, not the sculpt. I don't like exactly how much this is sticking out here. I'm fine with this edge being pretty hard though. Where'd our image go? Up through there. This will be easier to figure out how much I want to round this after I do the jaw, so we'll do that next. Yeah. So let's do the jawline first, so we can get that figured out. Turn our image back on here, and I'll do these one at a time. We're gonna have teeth on that, so that'll affect this quite a bit. I'll just use move AccuCurve here to essentially block out where this needs to go, make any changes we want. And this is fitting pretty well to the curve that we want here. Guess we can move this up some. Get that a little bit closer to what I see there in the reference image. And then down here, and I'm just blocking out the basic shape there. It'll be a little bit more complex with the teeth and everything. Let's pinch this, get this a little bit closer. Like I said, this will be one of the more tough areas as we try to blend that out. That's an interesting little shape. For the most part, I don't want too many curved surfaces. I want a lot of these like straight, sharp cuts. Makes it feel more sharp. Speaking about just shape language in general. This character doesn't have too many rounded shapes on him. He does have like some nice curves going on here, but for the most part, up here in the mouth, lots of jagged, sharp edges. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to pull that out accurately from that angle. If I try to pull it out from the side, I'm going to end up pulling out two of those, which isn't necessarily like a bad shape. It doesn't look too terrible. I don't think it's exactly what's going on in the concept though. And it's a little tough to see, but give me just a moment here to clean this up and we'll take a look. It's going to be more of a straight here on this side. It's not doing what I want it to. It's a lot closer to what I was attempting to get there. A little bit too big though. Not that I mind it being a little bit too large. Let's see. Either my so I think my scale is off here on my image. It's my my jaw back there isn't lining up anymore. So let's pull that in some. And that just means I need to pull out down here on this mesh a little bit. Make that fit a little bit nicer. And yeah, because of that, made some other changes here. So let's just change, or whoop, this. Just pull back in on this silhouette a little bit. Should be fine. And then I kind of like that. So I think I'm going to leave that a little bit bigger for now. And then maybe knock that back a little bit later. So the tough part back here at the corner of the mouth as I work on blending those, I'm going to use a proxy mesh to do this. So I'll show you what that means here in just a moment. Nova Bjorn, what's going on? How you doing? How's the contest coming along? Last I heard, you were working on the ArtStation challenge. So I've duplicated and merged these shapes together, and I'm using that as what is going to be a proxy for creating this shape back here. Because I want to keep those meshes blended together, or I'm sorry, I want to blend these shapes together to get this back portion of the jaw, but I want to keep the mouth split. It's going to be a whole lot easier to work on this giant wedge of a shape to keep those separated. So we'll just Dynamesh here and start filling in some of these holes. Doing some re-topo during lunch. Sounds like fun. Spent last night fighting with some curves to make ropes. That sounds a little bit less fun. Yes, curves in ZBrush are interesting, to say the least. So this little piece of geometry here is going to be used for just figuring out exactly where these need to go. So I'll be probably just chopping some of this off here, or better yet, merging it together, blending it. Let's see. Biggie, what's going on? Welcome, we're working on a little dragon here. Little dragon boy. And then for those that are just joining us who see Creeps McGee up here just hanging out, last night on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel, we turned a human version of Jon Snow into the White Walker version of Jon Snow. So that's up on their channel if you guys want to check that out. I stream on my channel every day at noon, and then I stream Eastern Standard Time, US. I stream on the Pixelogic channel at 6 o'clock on Tuesdays, 6 p.m. Where am I from? I'm from the internet. I'm located in the Cincinnati, Ohio area. Cincinnati. WKLW. Alright, and then this needs to translate up through here. They both do. Let's see. Let's move this lower jaw up some. Up some. Yes, yes, all the hotkeys indeed, constantly. I'm actually, like, at the end of the day, typically my forearm is a little bit sore. I'm actually super concerned about carpal tunnel. My hand is like constantly in this claw shape over on my keyboard where all my hotkeys are, and it's all day jumping back and forth between all these hotkeys. But they're necessary. You know, you have to hold shift to use your smooth brush. You have to, I have a bunch of hotkeys set up for my brushes and everything else, so I don't have to come down here and click all the time. Just saves a lot of time. It's worth it. It's worth the carpal tunnel. No, it's not. Fingers crossed on that. Yes, and I don't even have a mechanical keyboard. If I did, it would be even more clacky. And I do want a new keyboard. This keyboard is old and grody. Need me a new one. Let's line up our jaw a little bit nicer. Let's remesh some of this just to make it easier to manipulate like we've done back here for some of these pieces. Not getting a very clean edge anymore. Let's fix that. Bill, welcome back, man. You've been using ergo rests for about 18 years, no wrist pain. I don't know what an ergo rest is. I'll have to check it out. Is there an ergo rest for my neck? To be honest, you don't know what's going on. Well, that's totally fine. Yeah, I try to give the spiel every once in a while here for people that have no idea what they're looking at on screen. There's some stuff down in the FAQ below, but essentially it's just high-res 3D modeling. It's called digital sculpting. Is this not subdividing? There we go. Think essentially digital clay, and that'll get you at least in the right mindset. It would be cool if you added some teeth. Yes, we are going to be adding some teeth. Absolutely. Just like in the concept here. See all these jagged teethers? We gotta block out the shape first, though, before we can, so we gotta figure out where that line needs to meet, and then we can put in the teeth. Don't want to do too many things at once. Then things get real messy and unorganized. Teethers. The teethers will come. You've memorized all the defaults for, I guess, hotkeys. I've memorized all of my defaults, so all my hotkeys. Just made it easier. My UI is like not too different from the standard ZBrush user interface. And of course, we'll be doing things like blending a lot of these hard edges and blending a lot of these shapes together, but all in good time. We're not going to want this super hard cut between the jawline. I believe, if I remember correctly, the way you can tell a crocodile from an alligator, one of the key factors is that when an alligator closes its mouth, you can't see its teeth, and when a crocodile does, you can, if I remember right. It's been a minute. It's been a minute since my zoo class in high school. Let's see. You have a custom UI, but it constantly disappears, and you have to restore it. You should dig into why someday? Well, I can tell you the answer, actually. Nobody knows. Not even the Pixelogic team knows why. It's a bug that's always existed. Maybe not always, but it's existed for a very long time, and they don't know either. Everything should, load correctly. It should be totally cool, but it takes 5 seconds to click on Preferences, Restore Custom UI. So if you just click that, it'll restore all your custom stuff. But yeah, the Pixelogic team doesn't know either. Funny enough, they were just talking about it maybe like a month ago on the Discord channel. The nose? What about the nose? Let's see. I am just moving polygons around, making polygons, deleting polygons. You got it. That is the gist. You should add that button to your UI, because it never affects the top bar. Yeah. Oh, it's a blast. It is so much fun. You don't know what you're missing out on. Alright, let's see. Let's figure out our eye placement, I think, next. We'll get to like the teeth and these eventually, but we're working in this area, so let's get this in before we get too far. Figure out their position, slide those into place, and let's see. So we have this edge coming down and wrapping around the eye. So let's block that out. Okay, I'll probably pull that down a little bit more. be easier if I had a little bit of a higher polygon count, probably. I don't know why that's such a blurry selection. A little odd. All right, so let's see. How do I want to do this? I'm going to split this off for a little bit. Let's see. Stop playing God with their life, with the dragon's life. I am the creator. Yes, only if artists could generate. Gamer, what's up? Thank you for the bits, man. I appreciate it. Appreciate it a lot. What's going on? Nice. I dig the robot. Who we got here? Mr. Destructoid? I don't know, Mr. Destructoid. But yes, only if artists could actually create life from their creations. Make a spooky dragon boy. To retopo toes individually or together? Now that is the question. The baking errors for if you do them individually. It's a tough question. Why not both? Why not both Taco Girl? I'm doing great, gamer. Hope you're having a good Wednesday, good hump day. I believe you just took the leaderboard with that. Let's see, you did. New month, new leader. The Bits King. How long have Bits been around on Twitch? I feel like they, I can't remember the other streaming service that had something similar, but they kind of copied them. Bits have been around since the beginning. I don't think they have. Make a pizza roll? Why would you use it for that? Why wouldn't you just eat it? Why wouldn't you just eat that yummy pizza roll? That sounds a lot tastier. You have a lot of modeling homework. Ooh. What kind of modeling homework? Could be fun. Trying to change the flow of this edge a little more. A little dirty. Sounds like I want to do your homework. I don't think so. Hey, look. I like 3D modeling and all, but I'm not saying I won't do it, but I'm not saying I will. Little lava pockets, they are. Oh my gosh. I don't think I've ever eaten a pizza roll and not burned my mouth and wished I was dead. Dip your pizza rolls in sour cream? Absolute mad lad over here. I don't know how I feel about that. That's like a bannable offense almost. Doing some accessories for your models in Maya and ZBrush. Getting better in Maya and ZBrush as well. Awesome, man. I guess that's kind of the point of homework. Pizza rolls and garlic butter. Now that I could get down with. But sour cream, defo not. Maybe like ranch. I could see pizza rolls and ranch dressing. You guys are making me hungry. Cut it out. I could see pizza rolls and ranch because when I was in high school, the thing that everybody did was they would, I feel like we had pizza all the time at school lunch. But we'd always dip our pizza in ranch dressing. All the cool kids did, at least. I literally haven't done it since then. Like, not once. But I remember it being pretty good. The pizza in general was not the best pizza in the world. School cafeteria lunch was not really the best anything ever. Ah, garlic mayo? Yes. I could clown with that. I don't know about on pizza. I guess if it has garlic, it's at least somewhat acceptable. What about pineapple on pizza? Is that an acceptable pizza topping? I used to say no, but I have converted. I'm a pineapple pizza convert. I'm all about it. I don't do it every time, but you know, I enjoy pineapple on pizza. And I know I'm not the only one. All right. Your favorite pizza is the Hawaiian with garlic butter? You guys are killing me right now. Now I need pizza. Order a pizza on stream. Why not? Can't necessarily share it, but that's not gonna stop me from getting a large. PTRNG, what's going on? Yes, another food talk. This is sculpting and food talk. Every time the stream divulges into food, it makes the stream that much shorter. It's like, now I need to go eat food before I die. Ugh, this lighting situation. Let's go over to the other side for a minute. Yay! Yay, crashing! All these crashes. We had one last night on the Pixelogic ZBrush stream as well. But luckily we'll get a quick saved Z tool. Most likely. Pineapple pizza and barbecue chicken, yeah. Not together, not at the same, not on one pizza, but yes, I agree with you. I agree. Gamer, hosting, thank you, Gamer. Good boy, Gamer. Donating bits, hosting streams. Let's grab our reference image back. Dragon Boy, where'd you go? the most annoying part of a crash is just, you know, needing to load back in your references. Everything else, you know, restored pretty well. You grew up with pepperoni, pineapple, and black olive pizza. Alright, now that sounds terrible. Pineapple and black olive. Oh my gosh. I would say no to that. I'll eat like anything that's actually food, obviously. But like I'll eat stuff that I don't like. And I'm not a picky person. But black olives are gross. Black olives are so disgusting. That's like akin to torture as a child. I'm half tempted to retroactively call Child Protective Services. ZBrush doesn't crash. ZBrush doesn't crash for you? What? I've never had a crash in ZBrush. If you can say that, then you've probably never used ZBrush. Most of the time when it crashes, though, sometimes it's on stupid stuff, like I tried to move a sphere and it crashed. I probably like jumped around a little bit too quick and it got confused. Sometimes it's on really stupid stuff like that. I've had a crash unloading a tool. I have as well. You're just loading something up and it just kills itself. It's like, nope, not today. I will pass. Goodbye. Just loading up your file. The worst, that's the main reason. I haven't had that happen in a long time, Nova. But that's the main reason why I save, you know, multiple versions of files. In case something gets corrupted, or while you're saving a tool, it crashes. If you're only working off of one Z tool and saving it as a singular file the whole time, if something like that happens, you're screwed. Unless, especially if you go to work on another project and then your quick saves get filled up with other garbage that's not what you're working on, then you're really screwed. You have nothing to go back to at all. So it's always smart to have some kind of version control in place, even if it's just, you know, saving out like a Dragon 1, Dragon 2, which is often good enough for these. You said that you're Danish, right? Is it baked into your genes to dislike black olives? I'm not Danish, no. Do Danish people not like black olives or something? Is there some cultural significance? No, if anything, I have some Italian in me, but that's about it in terms of majority. Maybe one day I'll do one of the what's it called? The 23andMe, 20-something-and-me. Gives you information about your heritage and stuff. Just like send them a spit sample. Your ZBrush crashes when you use Z spheres? Yes. I mean, it'll crash on. Like I said, I tried to move my eyeball. I tried to just slide it up a little bit and it crashed. So it'll do it on just about anything. It decides to quick save even though there's nothing on the canvas. Yeah, that's just based on your quick save timer settings. You can adjust those in your preferences. I forget what I have mine on. Mine are probably pretty close to the default right now. I think I have them maybe set to like every 20 minutes. Let's just take a big steaming dump on ZBrush right now for how often it crashes. Really, it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be. Like, it's quite nice compared to how poor it used to be. Looks like this surface actually starts to change directions. I want to try to get that in there. These twisting of planes are always kind of tough to do. You're Scottish, or as you like to call it, destined to drink. Isn't that just humanity? We all gotta drink water. DN Locutus, thank you for the follow. How you doing? Start a Z-Crash support group. Hi, I'm Follygon, and I've experienced 4,000 crashes in ZBrush. Hi, Follygon. That would be a sad group. Doing good. Well, that's excellent. It's Wednesday. Hump day, we're halfway there. You have a love-hate relationship with Maya and ZBrush, just for all the crashes that you've had with both of them. Bonatu, thank you for the follow. Yes, there's definitely a love-hate relationship with 3D software in general. I expect there to be, crashes, which is why we have quick save, why we have multiple versions. If you expect problems, then you're happily surprised when things go smoothly. You know the pain, yeah. Yes, we've all been there. I mean, while installing my Cintiq, I actually somehow, I don't know if I did it or if there was like some static electricity. The only thing I can assume is that there was some static electricity on me because I was moving around on the ground on the carpet, like connecting stuff and putting stuff together. And when I touched my computer, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. But when I was installing this, it completely fried my installation drive. I have a bunch of internal drives in my computer, and it just so happened to fry that one specifically. None of the other ones. But yes, I had to completely reinstall Windows, and well, I lost some stuff. Not really a ton, because I keep stuff on a bunch of other internal drives. I think I have like 4 in my machine right now. But you know, that's always really crappy. Reinstall Windows and go through all that. Reinstall a crap ton of programs and just to get back up and running. It's never fun. Alright, let's see. Let's take a look around here at what we got. See what we can do somewhat quickly. Dragon Dust, welcome to the stream and thank you for the follow there. I appreciate that a lot. Hope you're having a good Wednesday, my dudes. Let's see here. Engine boy. Engine. You're always gonna be engine to me. The little engine that could. The more you ZBrush something, the more it'll shrink in on itself. It's not the only way to do that. We could like deformation deflate some of this. I'm just trying to like quickly cheat this form out instead of messing with it for a long time. I don't have a ton of information to go off of here for one of these, so we'll just do it rather quick. I just threw these in pretty quick with Dynamesh. I think we used the insert capsule. Really doesn't matter when you're inserting really primitive shapes, you can just use whatever you got on hand. You call him Engine on your stream as well. You should correct me if that's not right. No, no. He's my engine boy. Speaking of which, Engine, how's the poly count going? Let's see. Let's check the leaderboards real quick. Engine Engine notoriously was top of the leaderboards last month, and then gambled away all his poly count. Oh, I don't even see him. He's not even in the top like 10 there. Tisk tisk, Engine. Tisk tisk. He always he always tries to double it all up at once and then just loses everything. You lost again. When will you learn? When will you learn your lesson? Dragon Dust said, "Looks great, but I don't have a clue what you're doing." Well, you're not the only one. We're doing. Whoa, that's always a fun little visual glitch. Happens every once in a while. We're doing some think just sculpting with clay, but digitally. It's pretty much the exact same thing. That'll put you in the mindset. Technically, it's high resolution 3D modeling. So I'm pushing and pulling, making and deleting all sorts of polygons. So like if you look at this shape here, it's made of polygons. There's a lot of different tools and stuff that I'm working with to either generate new polygons or delete polygons. But yeah, that's the basics. The more you know. Yes, I should get a little rainbow GIF I can just put over my head. Calling someone engine in your native language is a slang term? And what an engine in English could refer to... I always think of a train engine, but just an engine in general, in a car or a motor. The driving component of some machinery. The driving. Oh, we got poly groups. I think turned on for Dynamesh. Turn that off. Is that on for all of these? It is. We'll fix that. Let's see. Dragon Dust says, "What are you doing with that model when you're finished with sculpting?" moving on to something new, most likely. I haven't been 3D printing too much lately because it's a little pricey and I'm not going to print or put anything up on my shop for other people's designs. But if you are interested in 3D printing or want to see some of the full color prints that I've done, there's a link somewhere below where you can check out some of those. It is Turkish. Are you Turkish? That's a great question. Side effects! Welcome. Welcome back to the stream. How are your side effects going? What exactly is a side effect? All I can think of is medication and bad things happening to you because you took some kind of medication. What's the Pepto-Bismol commercial? Upset stomach, diarrhea, Pepto-Bismol. I don't remember what all of it is. I have all these, like, somewhere in my memory is a crap ton of like old TV commercials that a lot of other people also remember, but we never talk about. But they're just like really catchy songs that they would have, and everybody's like, oh yeah, I remember that from like 10 years ago. This stupid commercial. Tacho! What's going on? You like the new face? Ooh, both living in Istanbul. 3D meetup. It's happening. Love connection in chat. We're gonna need to do some more to this guy from our front view to make him feel less blocky. Because right now, not really Not really digging how square he's getting. This feels a little bit too flat here in general. So I would probably want to like taper in the lower jaw. Let's see. And maybe widen out some of that upper part up through there. Or we can just reverse that and continue to get him like this trapezoidal shape there. Definitely want to stick with the flat that's going on up top. I would also probably like to get a little bit more taper here. I'll wait until we get to a point where we're Z-remeshing this stuff so that we have subdivs. It's a lot easier to do with a low poly piece than it will be the high poly Dynamesh that I have in there right now. Let's also get all this flowing a lot nicer through here. That'll all be flowing together a little bit later. Bigger dew flap. Let's see. Let's Dynamesh these together. Ooh, ow. Alright, so we got our neck geo here. Let's just start cleaning up that little flow we got going on there. Get that looking a little bit nicer. And then down here, this needs to like blend in a lot earlier. And we got some multiple layers of skin and stuff going on through here, which we can play with. And we even got some of that going on through here. So let's see, let's kind of figure out where that needs to live. The concept artist, I actually don't know. I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, I found this image a long time ago. I reverse Google image searched it. But if anybody recognizes this sketch from anywhere, please post it in chat, as I do not know who the original concept is by. Yeah, I did a reverse Google image search and didn't find anything. Alright, so we'll start to get some more of these skin folds going on. It's always fun to do this kind of stuff. I like doing a lot of just like sketcherly kind of work, kind of sculpts. I like keeping things rough sometimes. I don't really get the opportunity to do that too often. Pretty much only in like the blocking out phase, but I don't know. Keeping stuff rough is nice. There's like less pressure on you to make something extremely clean and appealing. You can get pretty crazy with some of this stuff. It can, you know, not to say that we're not going to clean a lot of this up, but during this stage, I don't know, I enjoy this kind of stuff. It can be very therapeutic. Did you find the original concept artist there? Let's see. Awesome. Good job. Good job, Engine. Alright, we got Taylor Fisher here for the original concept. So definitely go give Taylor a follow over on ArtStation. Let's see, we got some cool stuff here. How old is this? 2 years ago. It's probably... I don't remember when I saved this image, but it might have been around there. But yes, I don't even think I found this on ArtStation, because whenever I find images on ArtStation that I save, I always include the name of the concept artist. It always includes the name. Like when you save the file, it's always in the file name. Got some other cool stuff on here, but yes, let's pull that back up. Taylor, go give Taylor a follow over on ArtStation, guys, if you have not already. We'll put that up there. Detective Engine at work. I like it. Alright. Where else do we want to focus here? Focus our time. He's got some very beady eyes, doesn't he? Could probably slide those back a little bit. Let's merge these back up. Merge on down. Dynamesh. Dino-mesh. It's kind of a dinosaur. I need to actually sculpt the dinosaur so I can make that joke. Just do a quick Z-remesh on this top piece of geo. We're also going to need to get some teeth in there eventually, won't we? Z-remesh. project. I forget who, somebody was asking about if I use projection. Gosh, I feel like you couldn't do hardly anything in ZBrush if you weren't using projection. When I project, I typically step up through my subdivs as I do each one. Because if you subdivide a piece multiple times, it'll shrink in on itself, and then your projection distance typically isn't set up in such a way to facilitate that. So always step up through your subdivs. You get a lot cleaner results that way. It's a little bit of a longer process just because it has to calculate more, but because it's calculating more, you can get some better results. I think it's worth it. My timeline is gone as well since we crashed, which is not too terrible. Let's realign some stuff here. Katie! Katie, is that a different username? Maybe I'm mistaken. But welcome to the stream. Things are going fantastic here with our little dragoon. Let's grab our concept here and realign some stuff since we haven't done that in a little bit. Let's try... where's my bottom jaw? This one's a little bit easier to line up with because I got this point here. Scale on up. And yes, like I said, I think that eye needs to slide back some. Yes. Alright, so let's do a quick T-pose mesh. Oh, and also, let's click up on our timeline to make sure we save that positionally. Turn on symmetry here, so we're affecting both sides. And I'm just gonna make a quick mask. Make sure that this isn't being masked at all. I don't think it is. Alright. And now I'm just gonna slide that back. And then we'll transpose back and see how that looks. You added caps. I see. That's what was sticking out. I could tell something was a little different there. Can you shift F? I can, and maybe see everything at once here. So you can see that this bottom piece is dynameshed, and I've quickly done some Z-remesh pieces up here. I'm gonna delete that though, because I don't need it anymore. So that's lined up with our eye a little bit nicer. And let's see here. Play around here with the silhouette real quick. I've eyeballed most of these. They're not super far off. And we'll be merging those down at some point. Not right now, though. Alright, let's grab our Dino Boy, or Dragon Boy, whatever we want to call him. Put him back up here. Alright, so like I said, head is feeling, I think, too wide, maybe in general. Let's see. Let's maybe just go back into T-pose and proportionally tweak some of that. Actually, cancel. Abort, abort! I'm not going to be able to tweak this without some quick subdivs. They should be visible from the front view. We can definitely do that. That won't be too hard. Clean. Definitely not clean. Some of the forms are getting there though. So I want to taper in a few things here. So let's see. Let's go into T-pose, transpose master. Let's start up here in the snout. Pulling in here. And then maybe out around here. Let's see. All right. And I want to squeeze in. Let's see. I know the eyes are looking weird, but let's try that here really quick. Let me slide these eyeballs back in. Alright, I like that slim. I like that to be more slimmed, and I like the kind of taper that we're starting to get there. And then for the lower portion of the jaw, like I said, I feel like that could... So the highlight here is making me think that maybe this could like come out a little bit more. And then the lower portion of the jaw could like taper back some. Reminds you of a crocodile with a Spinosaurus head, or something kind of similar in there. Yes, I totally agree. Let's see. Yes, prey. Quote, prey have got them eyeballs on the sides of their head so that they can, you know, see if something's sneaking up on them. For instance, like an owl, has their eyes in the front. And stereoscopic, like cats, yes. If you try to walk around, just close one of your eyes and try to walk around, it's so hard to, just like without depth, you very quickly just get extremely disoriented, or at least I do. Whenever I take my contacts out, I get extremely disoriented, just because I can't see it all. Yeah, I'm thinking a little bit, even just a little bit more thin on everything. So we'll try that. Let's head on back to our subtools. You'll see that all those changes cascade through there. Our eyeballs will get a little squashed just because of how I moved that. So you'll see that they're no longer round. So I'm just going to undo that change and then manually just push those back in. You gotta be a little bit careful for with how you make your changes in transpose. Like if you're doing anything with your, you know, pulling other geometry around, it can get out of whack really quick. Yakuza Master, what's going on, dude? Is that Follygon? Nope, it's not. Croc eyes are amazing when it's peeking out of the water. Yeah, crocodiles are spooky. Let's see. We have about 150 to 170 degree field of view. And then you have have you guys ever seen the blind spot test? It's pretty cool. Where you have like a little dot on a piece of paper and you move it out to the side while looking forward until it disappears. A lot of the stuff that's also, if I remember correct, I believe your peripheral vision actually doesn't see in color, but our brains kind of make it up. So if you pull an object off, like if you don't know what color an object is, off to the side, and you have to try to guess what color it is based purely on your peripheral vision, you won't be able to do it. I can't remember if it's completely like monochromatic, but I do believe that you don't have the ability to see very much color at all. Vision's pretty cool in general. Pretty crazy. The human body. Welcome to science class, everybody, where we sculpt dragons, talk about food, and teach science very poorly. If based on stuff that we've heard years in the past. That's pretty much the whole stream. Let's pull this up. Outer edge of your eyes. As well, see in the dark a lot better. Yeah, I have heard that as well. When it's dark, everything is gray and black because there's no light. Yeah. If you're like, or if you're walking into a bright building, or I'm sorry, if you're walking from if you're walking from outside and it's really bright, and then you walk into a building and your eyes have to adjust, if you close one eye, your eyes will adjust a little bit faster. I'm just trying to thin that out some more. Because right now it's a little bit too thick. And let's see. Merge all of these together. And I'm actually just going to connect these a little bit more. And then there's a few more off down here, like cascading down the back. We can maybe do some more stuff, but I don't really know where I'm gonna cut that off or how I'm gonna do this. I was thinking maybe we could like turn it into a essentially like a little chess piece or something. I'm sure you guys have seen those, where like the neck's curling around and then ends in a little platform kind of deal. Let's see. Dynamesh. Could probably get like another thin little membrane up through here as well. Seriously though, Dynamesh is so cool. I feel like I take it for granted. Because I've been using it so long, but really it is an awesome tool. You can just merge geometry together willy-nilly really quick. And sure, the topology is not clean, but what do you expect from something that can just on the fly start merging stuff together? It's pretty crazy. Yeah, I hate that feeling as well, when you're like walking in somewhere and then you're just absolutely blinded. You make an ASMR video with my tablet, all the tablet clicking and keyboard clacking that I do. I'm sorry, my keyboard is loud and my mic is sensitive. I know. And I don't even have a mechanical keyboard. I was saying this before. If I had a mechanical keyboard, it'd be even louder. And I do want a mechanical keyboard. So you guys have that to look forward to. Maybe I'll put a blanket over my hands, over my keyboard, so it dampens the sound. Alright, so let's do another remesharoonie here. I'm just going to do the exact same thing that I did last time. Polygroup. All the things. This time, instead of using masking, I'm just doing some quick selections. And then after all of those, I was pressing Control W, which polygroups whatever you have visible or whatever you have masked. If you don't have anything masked, that is. Alright, so I have a feeling I won't need to project anything, but just in case, Justin, we'll try it out here with a quick 5K ZBrush and see how that does. I'm still thinking about pizza from earlier. You guys killed me. Let's see here. I'll do a quick projection on that, sure. There's probably one too many. I'm going to be deleting most of that trash form that's in here. Very messy. VV messy. Ooh, that's fun. Let's get rid of that. There's some kind of star up here. Yeah, that's not good, but that'll be fine. Through there. Alright. And I could use like a pinch brush or something else to thin out this membrane and then trim it down some more. There's a lot of ways to do that, or you can just mask it and pull it in from the sides. I don't think it needs to be, you know, too much more than that, though. I don't think it's going to make that much of a visual difference. So we'll stick with that for now and move on to something else. Get a quick save. Alright, let's look at this skin down here for a little bit. Some more of these wrinkles that I've started to sculpt in here. Have you ever realized how well you've memorized keys on the keyboard that it's possible to type blinded or under any other condition? I am actually, so I never had like a typing class or you know, anything else. So I don't use the home row. If I find one key though, I don't peck necessarily. I don't like, I can type pretty quick. I use all my fingers, but I don't use the home row. I have to find like a key or two on the keyboard, and then once I find that, then I know where the rest of the keys are. But yes, with my hotkeys and everything, specifically, like, I never think about it. It's all muscle memory. So if I'm trying to like recall what a hotkey is, like one hotkey that I use all the time is Windows X US. And nobody press it right now. But if you press Windows X, the window key, if you're on Windows, obviously, Windows plus X, and then U, and then S, it'll put your computer to sleep. Oh, and we just lost half of everybody watching now. But I do that all the time, and I was trying to remember what the hotkey was the other day. I was like, I cannot remember it for the life of me, so I had to Google it. I had to look it up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Because normally it's all just muscle memory. I'm sitting down, I'm just like, yep, do it real quick and go. And I do the same thing while I'm sculpting. If I'm not thinking about it, I can do it. But if I start thinking about it, I'm like, I'm dumbfounded. It's weird how that stuff works. So I've mainly used clay tubes over here just to build this up. It's starting to fill that in a little bit more. You can see that we're getting, you know, quite complex down here with, you know, really not that much effort. It is pretty dirty, and we would like to simplify some of this stuff. So let's see how much we can do to clean that up. The clay brushes are really good at, you know, kind of creating a little bit of a, I guess, intentionally warbled surface, something similar to what you would see in skin. So they're pretty good at stuff like this, or if you're trying to sculpt any texture for like wood, for blocking that out, they're typically pretty good for that kind of thing as well. So if you're trying to do like a bark texture, you can start to block that out pretty well with your clay tubes brush or any of the other clay brush. Clay buildup is actually a little bit better, but you can see how that starts to take effect there. I pretty much use it for just about everything. I love the square alpha. Allows you to, I think compared to if I were to turn off the alpha, I just like the shape that the stroke gives you a lot more. And it allows you to be a little bit more like precise on edges like this. On the end of your stroke as it ends in that cube. I like that it has a clean cutoff to it, where with the round brush, it's just not quite the same. Like if I turn off the alpha completely. I don't know, it's just, maybe this would be a little bit better for something with skin, but I prefer being able to have that square alpha. I like it a lot. Maybe we can experiment with this. I like being able to see where my stroke is as well. I would say if you're new, just experiment and find what works best for your workflow. Just play around with a bunch of brushes. There's so much in ZBrush, just in the standard, you know, presets that come with the installation. You really don't need a whole lot more than what comes with ZBrush. Over time, I think you'll realize what works better for you and start to get that stuff in. For the most part, though, you know, I think what comes with is pretty good. You always see people, you know, what material are you using? What brush are you using? It's like, I don't know, just the default stuff. Default stuff's pretty great. Basic material is a really good sculpting material. I say that all the time. The sleep hotkey. I think they're actually, in older versions of Windows, used to be Windows S? I don't want to press it right now, but I thought, or it was like Windows plus Windows Control S or something would put your computer to sleep. I don't think it exists anymore. Windows L locks your machine. I used to use that one a lot at work. When the boss is coming by, you know. I was just, you know, on my lock screen hanging out. You know. I don't use the lock anymore. Not too often. Alright, so we'll probably just, I'm thinking, terminate that, or I don't know, we'll figure out what we're going to do with that later. It's not incredibly relevant or important right now. Do we want to exaggerate some of these folds even a bit more? Maybe come in here. Where some of these are lacking some depth. I'm trying to pull out that edge. I'm going to soften these types of edges. But when I do something like this, I try to keep it, keep gravity in mind. So I'm going to build that up a little bit more towards the bottom of that edge. So it feels a little bit more natural. Let's see. Let's start to get rid of some of this extra texture that we don't want completely. And then obviously right now everything is perfectly symmetrical, not just this form. But when you're looking at it like this, it feels very, very unnatural. We'll be getting to asymmetry later. Save a lot of time though by keeping this symmetrical for the time being. Alright. So I've just started to clean up some of these messy additional forms in there that came about. But for the most part, I think I'll probably leave it at about there. There may be like a few areas where I want to turn the surface a little bit faster. Maybe just blend this out here. Something like that. Feels like a nice curve. And down through here. Let's see. Use some quick masking. Perspective. Alright, let's see. I love how fluidly you can square your models. What command is the deleting lasso tool you use? The lasso tool that I'm using, I like the lasso selection tools a lot in here, in ZBrush, and I use the mask lasso and the selection lasso. So for your selection tools, normally it's set on, when you start up ZBrush, it's set to the select rectangle. So if you hold Control and Shift, it goes to the selection rectangle. And it works just like you would think, draw out your marquee selection. And then you can use Alt at the same time, Control, Shift, and Alt. I know it's a lot of keys to hold at once, but you can, negatively cut some of that off. And it's still there, it's just not visible. Control Shift, clicking and dragging on your canvas inverts your selection. But while you're holding Control and Shift, go up here, click, and grab a different brush. Try out something else. Like I said, I like the selection lasso tools a lot. And these are just, you can click and drag and make a specific shape. Like if I want that top section really quick, I can do that. Or if you just, it's going to draw straight from wherever you start and end that curve. So if I don't want to use the marquee select, or if I want a specific angle, something like that, is very helpful. Same with the mask lasso. You know, if you want to mask off specific sections, it's very good for stuff like that. So you can very quickly make a relatively, you know, complex selection. Try it out. Play around with it. Okay. How we looking? We're looking like we're getting close to a point where we can blend some more things together, such as our jowl, our lower jaw, and our neck. And I'll probably even, let's see, do this little piece here that I made. So let's do all of that at once. And as I merged these together, you see that my subdivs went down to 2. Matthew was asking about this earlier. I don't know if he's still around, but that's because this object that I'm merging down into only has 2 subdivs, so it's dropping it down to the most that it can hold in that object. So that's kind of what's going on there. He was asking about that earlier. I don't think he's around anymore, but if he ends up... Oh, we got a crash again. If he ends up watching this later, hopefully that'll help explain some more of that. Give me that quick save, please. Alright, pop back into ZBrush. I guess while we're sitting here on my Gumroad, I'll mention it real quick while that's booting back up. There is a link down below, Gumroad/Follygon. If you have no idea what I'm doing, or you're interested in getting up and running in ZBrush and digital sculpting as quick as possible, I have a quick start intro course that you guys can check out, as well as some more stuff for intermediate and advanced players of the ZBrush game. I would appreciate it if you check it out. I don't pay to do any advertising or anything. Everything's spread by word of mouth and you guys. So that's just, again, just Gumroad/Follygon. There's some base meshes, materials, brushes, all sorts of goodies on there. Cha. And let's see how our recovered Z tool did. I'm guessing it's fine. Let's make sure though. Looks like we got everything in here, all merged together. That's cool. We will take that. Go back, set everything back up on our brushes here. I need to make a few changes to my UI here soon. There's some stuff that I pretty much do just about every time I restart ZBrush lately. Let's grab our image as well. Let's see. And I believe it was good old baby Bjorn, Nova Bjorn. He was saying their UI doesn't load in sometimes. So my custom menu hasn't loaded in right now, and that's kind of annoying. So that's typically the main one that freaks out on me. So I just need to go to Preferences, Config, Restore Custom Config, and now my little pop-up menu here will work again. And that happens more frequently than it doesn't almost. It's like a toss-up. I feel like it happens all the time. But it's not that hard to fix. Alright, let's get back to blending. We've merged a bunch of junk together, and now we can look at making this all feel like it's working together a little bit nicer. Trying to get a little extra hit in there so that when I sculpt up whatever this fold or whatever this is supposed to be here, this extra little form. What's up? Why aren't my brushes working? There we go. So when I sculpt that up, I'll be able to soften that and hopefully make that a little bit nicer. And I'm probably going to lower my Dynamesh resolution. I have a feeling it's not going to drop too much here. Yeah, that's okay. We'll be working with this for a little bit. So I need to blend these two pieces. These are like the main ones that need to blend really nicely. And then for the rest of this, I'll probably just use some trimming to start getting that all blended together nicely. And then, of course, using Dynamesh, let's lower the resolution even more, down to 300 or so. So we're sitting at 4 million there, and cut that in half. Alright. So I'll be doing a lot to, again, blend in and clean up a lot of this. I like to use trim around any area where I'm trying to blend it in a little bit more. For this kind of skin dooflap, I'll probably build up the other edge quite a bit more underneath the jaw. Having that like straight and then down like it is right now feels very very awkward. So we'll be doing quite a bit down here. Let's see. So this is all a singular mesh. I've kept the jaw split for quite a while. We'll get to a point where we're starting to put in teeth here in a little bit. But let's clean this up and get this to the next next level. I feel like this is like undercutting a little bit here. Something like that, sure. It'll be easier to do once we have some low-res topology down there. Let's continue to just blend some of this. And then mainly focused on just these connection points. Through here. Let's do a quick little remesh on that. I'll do like 5K or something, and that's probably plenty. Maybe even a little bit too much, but it'll be fine. Alright, so we're building up each shape. We started off, if you guys were here at the beginning, started off with just a quick little sphere. Our objective was to just, block out each, kind of break it up into individual sections, and then as we're going here slowly over time, we start to build those up even closer to what we're looking at and start to combine these and start to blend them all and get them working nicely together. That's kind of where we are right now, starting to connect up all these pieces. We could maybe even merge in some of the the fins, or whatever you would call those. Dorsals. Do dragons have dorsal fin? I feel like the only thing that really has a dorsal fin is a whale, but that can't be right? Fish. Is it just considered a dorsal because of its location? Is that specifically reserved for, like, is it called a dorsal fin on a fish? These are the deep questions that keep me up at night. Alright, so some more blending. Lots more. Let's get up to the jawline there. Not entirely sure what was going on here in this form on the concept. I don't know, we'll play around. Try to clean this up some more. A little bit weird. Jaw is starting to wrap down. It's starting to like curve a lot more than I want it to. From the profile, it's starting to like bulge out. Want a lot of this to be, you know, really like pretty angular, especially in the jaw. Help that feel sharp, predatorial. After we do this, I say we get some of those teeth in there. I feel like we've gone a little bit of a step backwards here, but it's kind of necessary to make sure that all this is working together. I don't think it's too much more here. Too much more work. Pinch up some of these edges, make sure things are having a nice flow to them. This is one of the biggest offenders down here as I'm trying to figure out what exactly was happening with this form change. I think this is like the original jawline, and then maybe this is just some more skin folds, and I originally interpreted that as a part of the jawline, which is fine. It's not too hard to go back and kind of clean some of this up. Just a little bit annoying. I think that's feeling a lot better to me. It makes a lot more sense now. Silgi Tozu, I think, maybe. Silgi Tozu, thank you for the follow. And welcome to the stream. A little bit more cleanup, and then we will jump right on those teethers. Especially along this jawline, we want to make sure that that is going the way we want it. Let's see here. Let's do... Alright, a lot of this is actually going to be deleted up here as I put in those teeth. I was just blocking out the basic shape there, but I think I'll probably just chop that off. Let's just do something like, you know what? I don't know. Now I can't decide. Yeah, we'll just chop that off. I think it'll be a lot easier. Go to put those teeth in. And then let's get a little bit of some thickness on some of this. There. I just want to give him a little bit of something to work with here for some thickness for that outer edge. It'll be a lot easier to sculpt up those teeth that way. I think that's probably good enough. Maybe just a little bit, actually, back here. A little bit more. I don't want to see the inside of his mouth back there. So just really push in around that dip, and then I think that'll be good. Let's do the same thing up here, though. From what I can tell, he doesn't have any teeth visible on his top portion of his jaw up there. So, I don't know. We'll see what's visible and what's not in 3D. Obviously, it wasn't visible in 2D, so they didn't draw it. There might be something that could be visible in 3D, though. We'll play with that in a moment. We'll probably put in on the bottom first, and then look at maybe doing some of that top. So for this, let's just try. Whoops, not what we want. Make sure all that's masked off. Just push all that in. that's a little bit more uniform. Hopefully a little bit easier to work with. Alright, so how are we going to do some teeth? Well, there's a lot of different ways that we can go about this. Probably the easiest way would just be to use an insert mesh brush and start inserting them as separate meshes. So probably what I would do here is start inserting some separate meshes for each tooth, and then after I'm done doing that, start sculpting up the additional form around those teeth. So start getting in some of these, the buildup of form where the tooth is going into the flesh there. That sounds like a good way to go about tackling this. Let's go back and turn on our timeline. Realign our image, and then we can start putting our teeth in. Just to make sure that we're putting them in the proper place. Let's realign our image. Alright. Looks close enough to me. Alright, and then for the... okay, hold on. We gotta mark on our timeline, so we save that. For the actual insertion of the teeth, let's duplicate, or actually let's go down to initialize down here, and make a cylinder really quick. And I'm just gonna make a basic tooth shape. So, just essentially a tapered cylinder. And this will just save us a little bit of extra work here. And then add a smooth modifier to that. And I mean, we could take it a little bit further, I guess. So if we want to add a edge loop in here. So this will allow us to put some curve on our tooth if we want to do that, or start to do that. So we'll do one edge loop there, and probably one towards the bottom maybe. Let's see. Kind of round out that bottom a little bit. Let's do that. Let's just leave that how that is. And then for the tip of the tooth, we can make this a little bit tighter, I think. Just scale in. And that'll round out, soften that form. But if we want to make that point a little tighter, let's see. I think I'll just stick with that. I think this will be a good basic insertion shape. So maybe just scale in around here a little bit more. Like that. Really basic cylinder. Perfect. So from here, we need to go into our brushes and let's see, create insert mesh. New, yes. And that'll create a new insert mesh brush for us, and we can start applying these to our surface. So I will hide that mesh. We don't need that anymore. And let's start inserting some of these teeth. Let's do, where'd our brush go? I'm just gonna replace one of these brushes down here on my quick menu so I can grab them a lot faster. Realign this. And now I can start matching our image here. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see, 1. It's kind of hard to see, isn't it? Let's up our opacity. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe like 4 on this first little section. So let's start with that. And it will when I insert this, because I have solo mode on, I need to turn that off. If you have solo mode on down here while you're using an insert mesh, it'll hide your other mesh while you're inserting. It's kind of annoying, so I try to turn that off, but sometimes I have to have it on for what I'm working on. Got too many meshes in our scene at once. Let's turn this back on. Alright, and then I am going to just control click and drag to duplicate the tooth. And then I'm going to run an auto groups function, which is down in your polygroups menu. And just kind of manually push and pull these around. And they're sitting off the surface right now, but that's not difficult to fix here. Oops. Let's only do one side of these at a time. It'll just be a little bit easier. Alright, so after we get teeth in, the basic process will be to, first of all, make sure that they're lining up pretty well. But then we'll go back through to our lower jaw, and I will start sculpting up the form around the tooth and getting some of the negative that we're seeing in our concept. It's a little tough to see right now because the opacity is so low. We'll start to just kind of build up this form so you can get an idea of how we're going to look at the rest of these. I'll just block this out really rough at first, just to make sure that we're starting to get some of that in there. And then I'll probably delete some of this form and kind of reconstruct some of that. I essentially just blocked out a lot of this curve that I saw happening in our jaw, but the teeth are going to complicate that curve quite a bit. So we'll start, let's see, let's realign here. Maybe take a look at some of our teeth and hide that. Let's inflate our teeth a little bit. Deformation inflate. You have to sculpt a baby head. I've never sculpted a baby, other than I sculpted the the Shrek babies at one point, which I'm not proud to admit. That was a fun job. I heard that Shrek got rebooted, or is going to be rebooted or something, right? I don't know how accurate these claims are. I'll have to look it up, because I honestly couldn't care less, but now so many people are making memes and such. Gotta get educated on Shrek. So like I said, I'll be deleting quite a bit of that. It's coming through here, and how we want to do this. Probably just delete most of that. Or actually, yeah, okay, so I have an idea. I have a strategy. We will duplicate our teeth and merge them like this. So it's all one mesh, and then after we dynamesh that in, it'll give us a little bit of a base to start sculpting on this shape. And it's not symmetrical on the other side, but that's fine. I only need to worry about one side of the mesh. It's easy to mirror that back over, but this will help us blend this in and get this going. And then I'll probably come through here and cut a little bit down through the edge. It's gonna get a little messy, but that's okay. This is all just for where we want this to merge in. I'm actually not going to be keeping the teeth that are merged in. This is just so that I can sculpt up the form around it for the gums, essentially, on the outside portion of the jaw. Actually, let's look at little baby croc. But yeah, they have essentially like a little mound built up. So that's the basic shape that we're attempting to go for there. This one's real nice. I like that. That's cool. But yes, let's see. Now, alligator. Was I right about what I said earlier? With an alligator, you can with a crocodile, you can see its teeth when its mouth are closed. But with an alligator, I don't think you can, right? Or you can see all of their teeth or something. I don't remember what it was. That doesn't look like fun. I'm getting bit. Meh. Oh well. Wait, yes. This, right? Maybe this is what I'm thinking of. They just have a little bit more of that, like, toothy buildup that I'm talking about right now. Hence the crocodile, what was it, Stegosaurus? Is that what somebody said? Crocodile plus Stegosaurus combo for this style. I think that's pretty accurate. I would agree with that. Why do you sculpt the Shrek babies? You got to work on Shrek 1, 2, and 3. It was for a job for an amusement park. I got to sculpt Shrek, Fiona, 2 of the Shrek babies, I think there are 3, if I'm not mistaken, and then there are 3, we called them drunkies, the donkey zombies, the donkey not zombies, sorry, donkey dragon babies. We called them drunkies, though. Alright, that was our hyphenated version of that. It was a fun project, but dang, those Shrek babies are ugly. That's fun, though. You got to work on the actual films. Sounds like a good time. If I remember the story originally, I can't what was the other film that was being developed? At the same time when Shrek 1 was. Was it the Prince of Egypt or something? Something else. Maybe that's not it. But essentially, like, people were if you were put on the shit list, you were sent to go work on Shrek, and then at the end of the day, you know, at the end of the project, Shrek did way better than the other movie. Oh my god, all NURBS modeling? What? Wow, that sounds terrible. I'm so sorry. I couldn't imagine. Why? Why model in NURBS? They need some... I guess I wouldn't even really call it modeling, but did they need, like, the flexibility of having multiple resolutions on the, like, anymore? I can't really see. I guess at the time, maybe. I don't know if the newer characters were NURBS, but that blows my gourd. Benbow, why would you be tasked with re-sculpting characters that already exist in 3D somewhere? Because they're not always polygonal, according to Bill. Black Label, thank you for the follow. Yeah, sometimes, you know, on certain projects you get files. On other projects you don't. Sometimes you'll get like a low poly mesh or something that was used for a film. Let's see. Or NURBS? Like, what? Why NURBS? It was all NURBS to polygons, and the polygons were generated per frame. There's a proprietary NURBS stitching software. What in the world? It's very interesting. I know how that would be rigged. That sounds like fun though. Be an interesting experience to say the least. What came first, the NURB or the polygon? These are the deep, big questions. Let's see here. Start messing with this flow. On good projects, when you're doing stuff for physical objects, it's nice that you get a base 3D file to work off of. There's typically a lot of stuff that needs to be done to a model to make it print or mill ready. But if you get a base model that's low poly and something that you can work with, throw in some subdivs, sculpt up whatever pose, expression you need. That's like the quickest type of workflow if you get a base model. If you're doing something that already exists. Sculpt, pose, expression, make it watertight, make it ready for, you know, RP or milling or whatever you're going to be doing. Cut it up, key it, and move on to the next one. Let's see. I think I've maybe misaligned some things here. That's okay. We'll figure this out. The Follygon came first. I did not. I did not come before the polygon, or actually, you know, I mean, polygons in 3D were pretty new when I was a wee lad. Yes, gross indeed. Nothing feels better than remaking things that already exist. Black Label followed you here from Pixelogic, learning ZBrush yourself. And love your style. I plan on checking out your stylized character course. Well, thank you, man. I appreciate that a lot. Check it out. And I think you're referring to the appealing female face course, stylized and appealing female face course. Awesome, man. I appreciate that. As always, with anybody that grabs my stuff, or there's some documentation in there, I believe, for how you can contact me if you have any questions along the road. But as I say with everybody, if you guys have any questions, you can always feel free to email me at follygon@gmail.com. And if I have the ability to help out, if I can, then I definitely will. I mentioned I need to show you guys something. It's really funny. I would feel bad for outing the person though. So maybe I'll sit on it for like half a year or something, and then I'll show it off. It's pretty funny. Alright, so I got like this little tiny one that I really need to fix. Let's see. Wait. Yes, and for those that don't know, I also stream on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel. I stream there. Actually, on last night, I streamed on there. Stream on there Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US. So if you're around, come and hang out on the next one, next Tuesday. I'll be there at the same time, same place. Let's see. What's up here? Show it? Show what? If you're referring to my Shrek babbies, I do not own those files, nor do I have them. That was at my last full-time gig here in Cincinnati at Life Formations. And even if I did have them, I am legally not allowed to post any of that online, unfortunately. There's a lot of stuff that I'm not allowed to post online, unfortunately. Which kind of sucks, but I got a ton of experience working on a lot of really cool projects, specifically on that job, and many others, but can't always share your work. Like, I would love to know who sculpts the amiibos for Nintendo, and if anybody knows, please tell me, but I cannot find information on the sculptors at all. And that really hurts my soul. Because the amiibos are so awesome. I don't know if you guys have any amiibos, Nintendo amiibos, if you know what I'm talking about. They're so well done, and they're so, like, you get such a good quality figure for the price. They're awesome. I love amiibos. I don't have very many of them. But I want more! I want them all! Not all of them, there's some pretty stupid ones, but they're pretty awesome. Alright, so we're getting that basic shape in there. Let's see our top jaw with that. And make sure we line up some of this stuff a little bit better. I'm gonna have this top jaw taper up into the bottom one. Ah, the one with the Charizard, sorry. I love me some Charizard. You've done some Pluralsight Digital Tutors courses, so you have a decent base. Awesome. I'd love to do a set of stylized characters and get them printed. Awesome, man. It sounds like a lot of fun. Well, if you ever have any questions about digital, or about 3D printing, digital printing, about 3D printing, send them my way. I've done a lot of printing for SLS, SLA, and FDM. Why do I keep making this stroke backwards? So I've done a lot of stuff with 3D printing. Making sure we're not... I feel like I do this every time. I always forget to check the clock and I get totally engrossed in what I'm sculpting and forget to check the time. But we still got some time here. Benbow, back to work, back to sculpting. Enjoy it. Have fun, man. Catch you next time, hopefully. Let's see, you collected the Animal Crossing amiibos. Do you think it would be a good study to try and recreate them from the physical model? You know what? Honestly, I think that would be a great little study session if that's something that you would like to try. Because you have, one, a really good physical reference right in front of you. And if you're not used to creating clean, production-ready stuff like that, I think that would be an awesome little study session. I would try to, just pick the easiest one first. And what's great about something like that, it's one of the reasons that I recommend you always, like for new people, like try to sculpt something really simple that's in front of you that you can reference, like a finger or something really small and easy that gives you the chance to where you can match it perfectly. And with something like that, I think that would be a good thing to do that with. Let's see here. Literally never printed before. Also, definitely if you're new to 3D printing, Black Label, check out r/3D printing. There's a ton of awesome resources in the sticky there if you're brand new. And just a great community of people that can help you out. I feel like every other picture on r/3D printing is of an FDM spaghetti print. when you have your FDM is just like PLA and ABS style printing, where you have probably what you think of when you think of 3D printing, an extrusion nozzle, right? Where you have like a spool of weed whacker plastic on the back, feeding in, heating it up, and going layer by layer. That's probably what you think of. That's FDM. And sometimes, if something's misaligned or, a million things could go wrong, but you'll have just a big spool of spaghetti material just balled up on your print bed. And, every other day on there, that's the top post, printed some new spaghetti. I don't know if you have a 3D printer. I'm guessing not, since you said you've never 3D printed before. But I use Shapeways for all my SLS printing. For all these little dudes, I got a bunch of these full color SLS sandstone prints. But check out Shapeways. They're pretty expensive because obviously it's a print on demand service, so it's gonna be pretty expensive. But check that out. Maybe that'll be a good start for you. Alright, before we get too far on the other teeth here, let's block out some more of these. Trying to break up that silhouette a little bit more. And let's grab this from the top, Come on. What happened here? That's not cool. Something got messed up. It shouldn't be too hard to fix though. So at some point, something got pulled across a little bit too far there, so I'm just gonna mirror and then mirror and weld, and that'll fix that. You want the full color stuff? Actually, yeah, there's a bunch of free resources on my channel. If you go over to my YouTube channel, let's see here. Here we go. Go to my YouTube channel, go to playlists. And it's probably quicker to just go through here. Can't you like search your own videos or something? I don't remember. So I have a quick tutorial on my YouTube channel for 3D printing in full color. Here it is. I duplicated. I'll share you this link in the chat here. And then if you, so that's on my channel. That's like a quick, 5 or 6 minute video. That gives you the basic rundown since you're interested in the full color printing there. And then if you go to the Pixelogic ZBrush channel and go to their videos, you can see a full video. Where is it? Here, this one. I'll drop this in chat as well. Delete all that time garbage. So in this video, I think it only takes me like an hour and 15 or so to go through the entire process of setting up in real time a figure for 3D printing. So I'll post that one in the chat as well for you guys. So the first one again is the quick like 5 or 6 minute little rundown on the steps and how you go through the process, and then the next one is how you do all that in real time for setting up your prints for full color SLS sandstone printing. But yeah, hopefully those are helpful for you. No problem, man. Happy to help. Definitely send me some images once you have a sculpt or even a 3D print. I'd love to see it. Send me a link. Alright, so I'm continuing to block out our teethers. Teether Sutherland. Need to pull up more around here. Why is this being so weird? AccuCurve. Ugh. There we go. Let's just do that quick and dirty. Poopy mask. Need a more stubby tooth here. Alright, so we've got those roughly where we want them. Oh my gosh. My pen pressure is broken, so now I can only draw as very strong or not at all. So it's pretty much just like using a mouse now. Yeah, so I can't, that's annoying. That just happens sometimes. I'll fix it here in a minute. Let me try adjusting some of this. I can't really sculpt without it. I mean, I can, but it's useless. There's no reason to use my pen if that's the case. So let's do a quick save and restart ZBrush. Hopefully it's just a problem in ZBrush and not a problem with my pen, with my actual tablet. Because restarting that is a little bit more troublesome. I need to delete all these recovered files. Alright, did our pen reset? Yes. So now you can see that I can draw lightly and then, stronger strokes as well. I think, yes. This is a very strong stroke right now. All 4,000 levels of pressure that you don't really need. Seriously. They advertise like thousands of levels of pen pressure, like it's a big deal. Like 100 is probably enough, in all honesty. Alright, I think I want to do just some general clean up here. I'm wondering how I'm going to merge this jaw up through here without wrecking this completely. That'll be fun. Let's see, let's grab our reference image back. And then let's line that back up for our other teeth real quick here too. So I've shown the, oh, you know what? I still have my timeline. Nice, cool. So I've shown the basic process for how essentially we'd go about lining up at least one of these meshes and then start blocking out that teeth, or those teeth a little bit more. And this will help me figure out where I need to line those up even better. And then we'll just I'll probably just reuse one of these. This is just the quickly inserted insert mesh that we made before. I actually don't even need that anymore, so let's just delete it. It's kind of just useless now. And then let's line this back up. Give me my transpose. No gizmo for me. And I'll just duplicate a few of these. It's a little difficult to see exactly what's going on here. So maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a few of these in there. And just roughly get those into place. Let's see. And the hardest part will probably be around here for the tip of that jaw. Up through there. You know what? Maybe not. I don't think that'll be too crazy. I'm wondering, looking at this, like if some of these are supposed to be teeth coming from the top jaw. It's really hard to understand some of these edges, but most of these have a hard black line on top and they don't on the bottom, so that makes me think that they're blending up from the bottom and that those are all lower jaw teeth. I'm gonna keep going with that idea in mind. So we'll have all the teeth on the lower jaw, and he's got like this big underbite thing going on, which I think is pretty cool. Pretty cool. And then we'll just reline these and start merging those into the form and sculpting those up. Whoops. So it's probably easier for me if I, again, use our select lasso, go through here and delete a lot of this geometry, and then we'll build it up as we get those teeth in there. So let's duplicate here, and then we'll just merge all this together into one mesh. Merge down, and then I'll Dynamesh it, but let's just make sure that our teeth are lining up properly. A lot of these get pretty small up here. Whoops, not what we want at all. Alright, we'll do this real quick. I'm just Dynameshing at around 300. I don't need, I mean, we have like 2 million polys in here. I'm not Dynameshing at, like, I'm not aiming for a specific resolution or anything typically when I Dynamesh. But in this case, I'm just trying to, in this case and in most cases, I'm just trying to have enough polygons. I wonder, I keep forgetting to turn that back on after it crashes. But most of the time I just need, you know, a resolution enough to get the form that I need here. So, not like, oh, you know, I need 4 million or 2 million. It's just whatever I need in that specific circumstance. And this is plenty for starting to block this out. If anything, excuse me, if anything, like this might be too high of a resolution. The lower the polygon count, the more simplified this is going to be, and probably the easier it's going to be to blend some of these forms together here. But like I said, it's not like a huge deal. It's not incredibly detrimental that I lower the poly count. I can still work with it, and we're getting there. Just trying to thicken up some of this. And we'll be doing more with these back teeth as well, but we got those at least blocked out going in the correct direction. So I'll probably leave those as they are. I know it's super rough. All that's really rough, but let's just realign some stuff here. Probably a little bit too tall on a lot of these. Try to get these more even and flowing together. I think, well, one question here. How do you merge without losing the subtool? Let's see. Would you merge eyelids to the main face to sculpt? Yes. Well, it kind of depends, but for the most part, yeah. Like, go back and check out on my YouTube channel the last head that we were working on that we sculpted from scratch. We did, 1 second here, where is it? Style Studies, Jon Snow, and Jon Snow, the White Walker version. So, and you know what, this isn't actually a great example because the eyelids are so thin. But if you go back and watch the process, the sculpting process for this, it'll be pretty much the same as what I've done for all the other heads. A better example, this guy here, he's got some thicker lids. These were separate pieces of geometry originally, and then they were eventually merged into the head and then sculpted on. And you can choose to sculpt that up from scratch on the head if you want to do it that way. Or like with what I did, I had it as a separate tube of geometry using my cube tube brush, and then after forming that up, getting that to a good place, then I merged it into the rest of the head. So I like to split stuff up a lot of the time, just so I can really work on stuff individually, keep it really clean, keep it separate. It just makes a lot of sense the more you play around with it. But definitely try that out. Let me know if that helps you out. Let me go back here to our Dragoon. And if we don't have any other questions, which I don't think we do, I think this will be a good place to stop. We've been sculpting for almost 4 hours now. A lot of progress today on our little dragon. Sculpted this up from a sphere, from nothing. If you are interested in seeing the entire process up to this point and you have popped in here a little bit late, it's not a problem. All the streams go up on my YouTube channel after I'm done. I stream here every day on at noon EST, but I'm actually not going to be streaming tomorrow because I'm hanging out with my mom because it's her birthday. So Mama Follygon, as someone coined it in the chat. But yeah, I think that'll be a good place for us to pause. And again, I'll just shout out here at the end. There's a bunch of social links down below if you want to check those out. I don't know what that hand motion was, but I'll probably never do that again for the rest of my life. There's my Gumroad down below as well. There's some intro courses if you guys are interested, intermediate, advanced, blah, 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 brushes, materials, base meshes, mannequins, etc., etc. Check it out. I would greatly appreciate it. And also check out Taylor Fisher. Taylor is the person who created the concept that I'm working off of. So go give Taylor Fisher a follow over on ArtStation if you don't already. And I think that's about everything. I also stream on the only other thing that I can think of is I also stream on the Pixelogic ZBrush channel on Tuesdays. So that was just yesterday at 6 p.m. EST. And while I'm rambling, I'm gonna try to find somebody that we can give a quick raid to. See if there's any cool artists online, any sculptors. I always prefer to find sculptors online if I can. Ooh, and I think I found one here. Maybe sculpting a cat. I guess we'll find out. I have to wait for the ad rolls, which always take forever. But again, thank you guys for coming to hang out. I'm gonna click the raid button here in just a moment, and I'll disappear. But yep, have a good one, Bill and Engine, Yakuza, Black Bell, Black Label, Benbow, everybody else that's creeping in chat. Alright. Ah, no, this... It is not a sculptor. I'm so stupid. They were sewing, and they had a little cat video. I'm an idiot. I thought the cat was a sculpt of wax or something. Here we go. I found something. Oh boy. Misleading thumbnails. Alright, I'll catch you guys next time. Have a great rest of your day. See you, gang.